I grew up in a very small farming town, and our family had a big garden. We ate out of the garden all summer long, canned and froze things for the winter. We had a thing we called Dad's tomato plant problem. The tomato plant problem was that we would have so many tomatoes we didn't know what to do with them at the end of the season. I can actually remember having fun fights throwing rotten tomatoes at each other. Of course, my mother didn't think it was so fun. So what is the tomato plant problem? Well, the tomato plant problem is, first of all, driven by ambition. We want to have more. We want to have a bigger garden, more tomatoes, more corn, whatever it is. And we do the same thing at work. We want to have more produced. We want to have better services. So we keep making things bigger, thinking that's better. The second thing that happens to us is things get added. We have a workload level that we plan on, and then we add something else to it. Then it's a little too high for us to handle. The third thing that happens is what's called peak loading. And that is in the springtime when you're coming out of the winter in upstate New York, you think, oh, a big garden, that'd be a great thing to have. But then when you get into July and August and it's hot and everyone's busy and there's so many things to do because summer is the busy time, then all of a sudden, oh my God, why did we plant such a big garden? Well, that's the tomato plant problem. Businesses are susceptible to the tomato plant problem. And there's a number of things we can do to prevent this from overloading us and our employees by planting too many tomatoes in our business. The first one is zero basing work. And that is, instead of just adding on all the time, zero base the budget is zero base the work. Let's take this down to the bare minimum and what do we have to do? And that will oftentimes eliminate excess work or excess steps in the project. There's a lot of principles in lean that we can use to reduce process steps and reduce the number of tomatoes that we're trying to produce. The third one is priorities. We can't do everything. The old saying is you can have anything, but you can't have everything. Well, we need to prioritize and decide what are the most important plants in the garden that we want to produce this year, or what are the most important projects in our companies that we want to get done. Problem avoidance is also one. That's where we get the add-ons, is when we let problems creep in and then we have to respond to them. If you can plan ahead and anticipate, doing an environmental scan externally or doing a SWOT analysis internally can help with that so that you're not overloading with more work as problems occur. The other thing when it comes to the personal level is we have to be able to figure out how to offload some of the work that we do have. Derek has put together a good video on that. If you have a garden, don't make it too big. And if you have a business, don't add more work.